Team trials, we're getting set. Men's freestyle, 60 kilogram, 132 pounds. Michael Lightner, the national champion, out in the blue singlet, and Nate Gallick from Sunkissed Kids in Tucson, Arizona, in the red singlet. Earlier we saw some grizzled veterans, but now we've got some young, fresh faces out there.
We got some new guys on the block here. Nate Gallick, he was the NCAA runner-up this year, and this is a rematch of the national finals. Michael Lightner's been out of college here for a while, but excellent technique, but pretty new to the scene here.
Michael Lightner shocked a lot of people when he beat Stephen Abbas, the silver medalist from the Olympics back in the national championship. So new name or not, fresh face or not, Lightner has earned this stage.
He really is. He's just fun to watch. I just like his shots. He just always in there, and there's 3 offensive techniques that he tried to execute right there, so he really keeps his opponent really back on his heels. And as far as Nate Gallick goes, probably one of the most airtight collegiate wrestlers you're going to see. And he's got a style perfect for freestyle, moving up, and that's a hard transition to make. It's almost 2 different sports now, the way it's wrestled, and for him to be at this stage here this early in his career is really positive for that man, Coach Bobby Douglas.
Good look at Bobby Douglas. We talk about home territory. He's the head coach right now here at Iowa State. I think between you and Douglas, it's fairly safe to say we're somewhere close to home.
That's right. Gallick really likes to control that center of the mat. He's going to try to work off that underhook. Lightner doesn't want to be pushed off to the edge, and we've seen a lot of that through the weekend. Guys get to the edge, they kind of forego the technique and just trying to go to pushing off and maybe get the opponent to step out, and that's the same as a takedown, scored the same as a takedown.
Of course, you step out of bounds, a point goes to the opponent of the one who stepped out of bounds. And right now we're scoreless here in the first period as we get to the 35-second mark left to go in this 60 kilogram freestyle match between Michael Lightner in the blue singlet and Nate Gallick in the red singlet.
Lightner constantly drifting. You know, when I say drifting, he's got his feet moving to, circling off to one side, and then he'll stop and post and make you react to that. Work in the corner, and I think Gallick is reacting much better to that than we saw in the first match.
I think so. I would have to say that Nate Gallick perhaps gleaned some things out of that first match as we move down to 5 seconds left to go in this first period. No score, then we'll see a clinch. There it is. Someone stepped out of bounds.
Yep.
And it was Nate Gallick that stepped out of bounds, according to the mat official, Rusty Davidson.
Set.
And so 1 point goes on the board for Michael Lightner.
A little controversy here. Cale Sanderson, Gallick's coach, up on the edge. He wants to have a talk with the chairman.
You did step out, I promise.
Well, that came in the waning seconds of that period. And so they've already gone to the break in between the first and second periods now.
Coach.
Michael Lightner, the man in the blue singlet, up on the board, as having picked up that 1 point. Bobby Douglas has a few words to say about that as well. They do use video here, Jim.
There was time
if they get into a situation that's awful close and they need to double check it, they'll go to the video and double check it. But apparently there was not that much doubt in the minds of the officials that time.
There was 17.
You step out on your feet. You've got a chance of losing a point there. They want the action to stay in the center.
Second period.
One of the results is you can be looking for an offense and trying to get an offensive technique going, but if you step back,
these guys are confused.
Implementing that on the edge, you're going to give up a point.
Okay.
So
now they've waved it off.
Set.
Oh, they're starting the second period, excuse me.
That's correct. The second period starts 0-0. Score does not carry over from period to period. And the rules this year are such that you have to win 2 out of 3 periods. So we begin the second period with a 0-0 score. Michael Lightner, blue singlet, won the first period 1-0. He can win this period, Jim. He will go on and represent the United States at the World Championships. He's 1 period away.
Well, you're on the top of the ladder. You enter into this situation. You have 8 solid minutes of wrestling, and so far Michael Lightner has been able to put together 8 solid minutes, and now he's looking for a couple more.
Michael Lightner was an NCAA champion for the University of Oklahoma. And he's not moving as much side to side this period as we've seen him in his lateral movement earlier.
Yeah, it looked like Gallick was getting a little bit used to that. Then he was looking for the big push and stepped out and got the call. He looked like he was responding much better. So Gallick has to respond to the adversity here. Nice shot attempt. I really like what I see from Michael Lightner. See why he's gotten to this level. Always moving his feet.
We are under 1 minute here in the second period. No score here in the second period. All Lightner needs is 1 point, and he will win this match in the spot on the United States World Team. A lot of movement, but really not a lot of action.
Yeah, and Lightner is looking for just the right opportunity, but along the way he's been harassing him here, lowering his level, step and stammer, and getting Gallick to react to that, and maybe getting Gallick off the game of maybe pushing. Oh, nice shot. Tilt situation.
Let's see if he can get a point on the board. We're under 10 seconds to go. If he doesn't score a point, we're going to have, and there's 2 points from Michael Lightner, and also points given to Nate Gallick.
Well, the referee signaled 2 immediately for Lightner, then it went to Gallick.
It looked like a 2-in-1 situation. While there's a break in the action, we'll take a break ourselves. We'll be back with more action from the 2005 World Team Trials here on the campus of Iowa State University. We're back to the 2005 World Team Trials here at the Hilton Coliseum at Iowa State University. Let's move ahead to action in the third period.
1 more period.
Well, there was a lot of flurry, Jim.
And they're going to give it 2-point blue, 2-point red.
So
it's 2-2.
What looked like a 2-1 was really a 2-2. So whoever scored the last point becomes the victor in that. And it was 2 blue first, 2 red second. Because it was the last point scored, the victory here in the second period goes to Nate Gallick.
Here you go, and here's just the situation. He's in the leg now. He goes immediately for the tilt. He straightens his leg back, gets the tilt, and then Gallick comes back and re-exposes. So they called that 2-2, and under the criteria, the last person to be able to score in that 2-2 situation, which is Gallick, that little situation gave him life. So just razor-thin margin right at the end of both periods.
It could have been a 2-0, but instead they gave it 2-2. Nonetheless, the victory goes to Gallick. As we start the third period now, they're tied at 1 period apiece. Michael Lightner won their first bout earlier today.
I see Gallick has changed his tactics a little bit here. He's gone down to his, we've seen this is the lowest he's gone, down to almost his knees. He's basically grazing off of his knees right there.
That kind of takes a few options away from Lightner, does it not, Jim?
Yes, it does. There's a power shot, just straight on, nothing really set up, but he did get to a leg, and now he's working to get to a tilt. And you got to be careful not to expose your shoulders during that process. And there's Lightner with a excellent technique there, gets a tilt. Gallick gets the takedown, so a 2-1 exchange there in favor of the man underneath, Michael Lightner.
So Lightner goes up as we come to the halfway point in the third period.
Gallick really working hard for the lift. Oh, great job by Lightner countering that crotch lift. Well, it looked like he was going to get it too.
And referee is signaling no points on that. A lot of action.
Excellent defense there. Referee's calling them both up. 2-1 advantage still for the National Open champion.
Great action, but Lightner fought that off really, really well. No points awarded. 35 seconds remaining in this bout. Lightner in the lead, 2-1.
Which in effect is almost like a 3-1 lead because he's got a 2-point move, which on criteria would count more than 2 1-point moves.
Now, if Gallick scores this and they tied it up at 2-2, Gallick would be the winner by having scored the last point.
Well, 2-point criteria.
There's the 1 point.
Yep.
That's right. It's a 2-point criteria on that.
Now, Gallick needs to get the tilt here, but excellent job again by Lightner, not giving up the tilt. And with 2 seconds left, they're called up to their feet.
That's correct. Had it been 4 1-point takedowns, then it'd been a different story. But Lightner had the 2-point tilt.
That 2-point tilt was effectively like having a 3-point lead, or 2-point lead, excuse me.
That is correct as this bout comes to a close right here. They showed 2-2 on the board, but the criteria going to break this was the move with the highest value, which was a 2-point move by Michael Lightner that set him in the driver's seat to win this period and to win this bout against Nate Gallick and to go on and win a spot on the United States team participating in the World Championships.
Well, I think he deserved it there. He's shown technical superiority throughout the 2 bouts, and he's on his way to Budapest.
He scored 2 points with the highest value on that 2-point move. You take a look here and see the action.
Lightner just did a nice job of not exposing his shoulders. You see his shoulders never went past 90 degrees, and Gallick was doing all he could in that crotch lift position to be able to expose the shoulders, and he did a nice job of lifting him. And normally you see a lot of guys go over in that situation, Van.
Yeah. Joe Miller is standing by with our winner.
Now you really burst on the scene this year, the outstanding wrestler at the U.S. Open in Las Vegas. Talk about the rapid move up you made here on the scene and now all the way to the world team.
Well, I just made my mind up after Cuba that I wanted to wrestle more determined, and maybe I would lose skill-wise, but no one was going to have more determination out there than me, and that's basically been what it's, that's what I've been doing, just trying to be determined, wrestle determined, and just make every point that I score tough points, and if I get scored on, make them really earn it. So I just want to be more determined.
We'll return to the Hilton Coliseum here on the campus of Iowa State University in the 2005 World Team Trials right after this message.